100 Plastic Model Mojo podcasts. That's quite an achievement. Here's some trivia tied to the number 100. A person or persons who lives to be 100, of course, is called a centenarian. Therefore, a person or persons who creates 100 podcasts is a podtenarian. Did you know the sum of the first 9 prime numbers is 100? Mike's an engineer. He probably already knew that. And that there are 100 sweat glands in 1 square inch of skin. Remember that next time you're exuding. Congrats on 100 podcasts, Mike and Dave. Keep it rolling.
And this is the boys from the OTB. My name's Dave.
And Ian.
And Julian.
And just wishing the guys from, well, actually not the guys, those whiskey-sipping, banjo-plucking hayseeds from Kentucky, all the best for their 100th episode.
Woohoo!
And I've got to say, hitting 100 is a real milestone in this day and age of podcasts, with every B-lister who you could name having their own podcast. So well done, guys, and wishing you all the best for your next 100 as well.
Yay.
See you later.
Happy 100th episode anniversary to the Plastic Model Mojo. And no, I will not do my best Marilyn Monroe and sing. This is a scale Canadian. The mountain is not out. And all I can say is clearly Mike must be in charge of the Moj. Because if this was Dave's project, he'd never have finished a single episode. Best wishes, hope for 100 more, raise a glass of modeling fluid in celebration. And I am out.
Hi, this is Stuart Clark of the Scale Model Podcast, and on behalf of myself and the rest of the podcast hosts, I want to wish Mike and Dave at the Plastic Model Mojo a happy 100th episode. Major accomplishment, and we want to wish you guys all the best and continued success for your next 100 episodes.
Triple P Scotty invited me, the model airplane maker, to say a few words in celebration of the Plastic Model Mojo getting its Hondo. After all, 100 episodes is the brass ring of the podcast community, a true mark of success. Fame, riches, and lucrative endorsement deals are sure to follow, and this success, it's far from accidental. I can think of a few things that make the Moj stand out in a sea of podcast content. There's their patented, no-nonsense, common-sense approach delivered with those smooth southern accents, that emphasis on the social side of this thing of ours, and let's not forget their pioneering work in legitimizing the combination of 2 great hobbies, those of scale model construction and recreational alcohol consumption. Oh, I'm sure there's probably other stuff in there as well. Lord knows how David Knights can drone on at times, but let me finish with this. I truly believe these are 2 great ambassadors to this hobby, and their creed of making plans to improve skills has really resonated with me the most. Thanks for all the support, Mike and Dave. Here's to your next 100.
Mike and Dave, this is Scott from the Plastic Posse Podcast. Just wanted to wish you guys well and congratulations on 100 episodes. That's a fantastic achievement. Way to go, you guys. Keep showing us how it's done. Here's to 100 more.
Remind me, who are we doing this for again?
Kentucky Boys.
Oh, are they still around? Oh, way to go, guys. Happy 100th. Thanks for the friendship. Thanks for the support. It's been great. Keep going.
Yeah, Mike and Dave echoing above and below. Nope, that doesn't make sense. But super happy that you've made it this far. Can't wait for the next 100. And I'm really excited for that Sidewater group build. # secrets out. So let's do this.
Yeah, Mike and Dave, congratulations on the 100. Here's to the next 100. If I could right now, I mean, it's 2 a.m., I would be raising a glass of pink gin and lemonade just for you. Well done, guys.
Mike and Dave, great job. 100 episodes. Wow, it's your same age. Congratulations. Hope to see you guys soon and wish you 100 more.
Mike and Dave. Sorry. Mike and Dave, congratulations on 100 episodes. Mike, just for you, I'm going to build 100 kits just in your honor, and I'll probably have it done by the time you finish your second one. So keep it up, man.
Make sure you invite us to the pool party. We'll bring our T-shirts.
Hey, Mike and Dave. It's Chris, a.k.a. Luftrom up in Canada. 100 episodes in. 100 episodes of keeping the modeling mojo alive and lifting modeler spirits. Seems only fitting that we celebrate by lifting our spirits to you. Pouring off a nice glass of, in my case, 40 Creek Niagara Whiskey Double Barrel. Raising a toast to your success. Congrats, boys. Here's to the next 100.
Hey, Mike and Dave, Darren here coming at you. And on behalf of Scott, Whitey, Brill, Tim, and the rest of the geeks out there, I would like to say congratulations. 100th episode. That is an awesome milestone. You guys are absolutely killing it. I know that things have been kind of hectic this past year, but you guys stood up and you made it happen. I will say your commitment to this hobby and growing it and making it a better place is intoxicating, and I thank you. So here's raising my glass to you, and on behalf of all the geeks out there again, thanks a ton for what you do, and congratulations out from the geeks.
Greetings, Mike and Kentucky Dave. Congratulations on 100 episodes of the Plastic Model Mojo podcast. You know, your podcast has had a huge positive effect on the hobby. Your podcast, when you guys first started, I remember you guys were saying that one of the inspirations was to kind of hold yourselves more accountable for being more productive and finishing more models and getting better. And not only has that certainly affected both you guys, but also affected me, and I'm sure countless of your viewers. Personally, I've been, feeling a lot of the mojo from you guys, listening to your podcast, and then through that, getting into other podcasts in the hobby, also being a little bit of a part of your podcast, and getting to know you guys, chatting with you, going to shows with you and everything like that has really motivated me and given me a lot more mojo than I had in the past couple of years. Additionally, you guys constantly singing the praises for model shows, especially the U.S. Nationals, has unfortunately for my finances gotten me hooked on them, and I don't think I can ever skip them again because the Nationals, especially the social aspect, has just been probably one of the biggest positive influences from me for the hobby. And I really thank you guys for the work you put into the podcast and the promotion of the hobby and making us all feel the mojo and getting better at finishing our models. Take care, guys. Congrats on 100 episodes and to many more. Cheers.
Apparently, Mike and Dave have their 100th episode at Plastic Model Mojo. That's quite an achievement, right, guys?
Absolutely.
Damn, those guys are old.
Wow. Are they 100 episodes or 100 proof?
If they're not drinking 100 proof on the 100th episode, they're doing it wrong.
No matter what they're doing, we love their content. Those guys bring their own unique perspective to the podcast space. And it's all good stuff. And look, we're happy that you guys have lasted this long. We hope we do. And we're looking forward to 100 more.
Hey guys, well, this is Rick Lawler coming at you, and I just want to say congratulations on 100 episodes. That's quite the amazing feat. Isn't it great technology these days? Just a couple of guys shooting the breeze, talking about the hobby we love so much. A couple of tin cans, put a string between it, and you're in the same room as me. It's quite amazing. And I appreciate that because your interviews, your conversations, well, they keep me company while I'm doing my own modeling. As long as you guys are talking, I'll keep listening. Keep up the good work, guys, and congratulations once again.
Hi, Kentucky Dave and Mike. This is Barry and Jim from Small Subjects. We just wanted to congratulate you on your 100th episode.
Kentucky Dave and Mike. I like that, Barry.
Yep.
Should we call you Utah Barry now?
No.
This is Jim DeRogatis, Utah Barry's co-host. And man, I got to tell you, having recorded 932 weekly episodes of my other podcast, the inferior one to Small Subjects, Sound Opinions, I know how hard it is to get to 10, to get to 20, to get to 100. So congratulations. Quite an accomplishment, boys.
From Jersey Jim.
Ah!
This message was brought to you from Just Making Conversation.
Oh, you pair of podcasting legends.
Blimey, can you believe it?
100 episodes down the rabbit hole. That's proper champion, that is.
Keep them coming, mates, because we're all ears for your banter.
You two are real geezers of the airways, innit?
Cheers to the 100th.
Here's to your ton up, me old muckers. Keep cocking on, and let's have a butchers of what's next, shall we? From the geezers across the pond.
James and Malcolm.
All right, the guys here at the Model Insanity Podcast want to give a big shout out to our friends over on the Plastic Model Mojo, Kentucky Dave and Mike Basquette, for your 100th episode, the first American podcast. I don't know if it's really representative of America with those accents. I think that the East Coast accent is a little more palpable for people. So anytime you want Rob Riv on the show, just, give me a shout out. In celebration of your 100th episode, I know my co-host Justin Ryan wants to say a little something.
So in honor of the podcast hitting 100 episodes, I'm going to pour myself a little Old Henry from the Kentucky Mist Distillery. This is a aged corn whiskey. Guys, congratulations on your 100th episode.
Mr. Adams, what do you got there in celebration of the 100th episode at the Plastic Model Mojo?
I'm Canadian, so I'm drinking a good quality Canadian beer known as Moosehead. Congratulations, guys.
And Mr. Santucci, what do you have there in northern New Jersey?
Northern New Jersey here. I'm about to crack open an Oktoberfest for these boys. There you go. To the last drop.
And on my part, I'm drinking blueberry hard seltzer. So, Mr. Santucci, anything else you want to say to the Plastic Model Mojo guys?
Yeah, from the new kids on the block to the old kids on the block, happy 100th episode.
Congratulations, guys. Cheers. Salud, huh?
Cheers, boys.
Dip her up.
I'll have you know this is my first whiskey since my medical incident.
And Kentucky Dave, you might be getting a call from me soon because I might need a good lawyer. So, salud, huh?
Hey everybody, this is Brian from and the boys from Build Sideways Podcast. How are you doing today? I want to say thank you and congratulations. Thank you for all the great podcasting to Dave and Mike from Plastic Model Mojo for hitting that 100th episode.
Man, 100 episodes. You know, if I did 100 episodes with these guys, I would not be here right now.
You just wait.
Congrats, Dave and Mike, on 100 episodes. Look forward to listening to more.
All right. Yeah. Hey, guys. Congratulations on 100. And, I guess I'll impart with these words something I learned today. Great minds think alike, but fools seldom differ. So from one group of fools to another. Congratulations on 100, guys.
Fantastic. Congratulations, guys.
Here's to 100 more.
Don't forget to build it sideways.
Welcome to Plastic Model Mojo, a podcast dedicated to scale modeling as well as the news and events around the hobby. Let's join Mike and Kentucky Dave as they strive to be informative, entertaining, and help you keep your modeling mojo alive.
Dave, we made it, man.
I know. Number 100.
I can't believe it.
Neither can I. Neither can I.
So have we lived up to our tagline?
Yeah. I mean, you and I both need to be building faster, but we're certainly getting modeling done. Lord knows, especially lately, I've been acquiring kits.
So you better start building them.
Yeah, it's right. I better start building them faster. I'm building them. I'm just not building them nearly fast enough.
Well, the first order of business is I want to thank Scott Gentry over at the Plastic Posse Podcast for putting together that montage of messages from our fellow podcasters and other friends in the model sphere. That was pretty touching, to be honest.
Yes, it was very, very nice.
We got to hear that a little bit early, and now everybody else will get to hear it in the finished product. So, Scott and everybody who contributed to that, it's been a pleasure meeting all of you over the last 100 episodes and going on 3 years here?
3 years, dude.
Well, tonight we are going to play it a little fast and loose. Normally we work to an outline that has all our featured segments on it, and I think we're not going to do that tonight. We may fill in a little banner along the way, but we've got the Wheel of Accidental Wisdom, and we've started to queue up a few people here, Dave, and we sent out the invites to our Patreon and PayPal contributors, as far as a number of other folks who have befriended the show or helped us out along the way, and maybe not necessarily financial, but through other means, or just have just become great friends. So
yes, we
got a lot to do tonight. We got 35 pie slices on the wheel. There might be a few repeats in here, but most of it's new.
Okay.
And we're going to get someone else's take on even one if we repeat. So
yeah, that's my thought. Even if we end up doing a repeat, we're going to have one of the folks in the waiting room with us to give us their take.
Well, Warren's out there with the bourbon in hand. I think, folks, you're going to have to make a request on your side if you want to get in and have a little word with us and take a spin on the wheel. Brandon says no one wants to be first. Well, Brandon,
Oh.
that means you're going to be first.
That's right, Brandon. You're first.
You're an old hat at this. You've been on the show before. Christian, what's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Man,
Doing
we're good. How you been?
Been real good. Been real good. I thought I turned my camera off, but I'm seeing myself on this side, so I apologize.
We see you, but that's okay. You're a handsome and virile man, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay.
Down here in the workbench, working on my Overlord build, the Mustang Mark 1A, flown by the IRA, the IRS, the RAF on D-Day. So just thought I'd listen in. Wanted to congratulate you on your 100th show. I think, having been involved in podcast production and my real job, I realize how much work goes into it, particularly when you're not being paid. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Did you get over to NordicCon?
No, I did not.
Ah.
I've been very busy with home-related things. So.
Believe me, I feel you. I feel you, brother. So do you want to take a spin on the wheel?
I would love to take a spin.
Well, let's
Mike,
go.
Spin that wheel.
Things modelers often get wrong. And I think this is a repeat, but Christian, what do you see out there that modelers consistently get wrong?
Oh, I think really a focus on the rivets, in my opinion. Just really trying to get 100% fidelity, particularly with wartime aircraft, when there's really no good way of knowing what the finish was completely or what it was equipped with, even with great photographic references.
Yeah.
And the way I build is I do get influenced by references, but then I kind of build for me. There's some things, on this build that I'm probably not going to worry about. If you looked at the rat's nests of wires behind the pilot's head to activate the camera in those Mustang 1As, it's just not worthwhile. So yeah, I think too much focus on total realism, I think, can be a pitfall, and it can really suck a lot of life out of a build and frankly take a lot of fun out of the hobby.
I completely 100% agree. First of all, it's a fool's errand to try and reproduce every last switch, every last rivet. And now some people get joy in going in super detailing. And for those folks, more power to you. But if you're feeling pressure to do it, then yeah, that can suck the life out of the hobby. So I concur with you.
Particularly at the scale you work in.
Yeah. Yeah. True enough. Hey, don't diss God's one true scale.
Yeah, one true scale.
That's right.
So yeah, well, I appreciate you taking me in, and I guess there's always something special in being first. You get to make all the mistakes for others to learn from. So again, the very best on 100th episode, and I look forward to being on the call when we get to 200.
Oh, wow.
We look forward to seeing you at Madison, if not sooner.
Yes.
All right. Well, Dave, do you have a new answer for this question?
No, I don't. I would just want to echo what Christian said. I really think he's spot on there.
Well, I think in the spirit of this question, when it was asked, was more general kind of detail-oriented things, not necessarily a philosophical question. I saw one today. Somebody posted a really nice BT7 on the interwebs here recently.
Uh-huh.
And the front wheel hub on those things has a D-shaped plate on it, right?
Yeah.
The flat side of that D should always face up or just a couple of degrees tilted forward or backward, depending on how old the vehicle might be.
Yeah.
The front wheels on the BT series tanks were steerable, and that center hub did not turn. The wheel turned relative to it. So
gotcha.
That's a little thing if you're building a BT or BT5, 2, 7, whatever, that you can fix if you've got one turned the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a note of that and put it in the box of the BT7 I have in the stash here.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good kit from everybody. Everything I hear, that's a really good kit.
Well, Christian, thank you. I got to figure out how to kick you out now. I forgot how.
I think if I just leave, it says leave, so
Okay.
I'll self-service on that, and look forward to the rest of the show. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and good luck with Bases by Bill. Warren.
Yes.
Warren Dickinson. I can tell by your voice.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've got my bourbon.
What are you drinking?
Some Casey Jones cast strength that the wife got me. It's delightful.
Well, good.
Well, you got to be careful with that cast strength stuff, man.
Yeah, this is the 3-year-old, and I went and bought the 2-year-old. Don't.
Oh, okay.
It needs to be 3.
At a minimum, I'm surprised the 3s is delightful, to be honest.
I like it, but then I have no taste in bourbon, as Dave will tell you.
That's not true.
You live in Kentucky. You can't have no taste in bourbon. We'd kick you out of the state if you did.
I have an unsophisticated palate.
Well, okay. That's okay.
Well, Warren, you want to take a spin at this wheel?
Sure, why not?
That's what we're here for.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Model show mistakes, disasters, and disappointments.
That's easy. I've never entered anything in a contest ever, so I don't have any.
Oh, that still doesn't mean you can't have model show mistake, disaster, or whatever. Failing to bring enough cash can be a model show mistake because there are some vendors that won't take a check or a card.
I'm with that one.
Yeah.
Well, David, previous to your show in 2022, the one where I stayed with you and Mike at the table, the only IPMS show I ever attended before that was the 05 Nats in Atlanta.
I was there.
I had a lot of money at that show.
Yes. Well, you had a lot of money when you went to the show. You didn't have as much money when you left the show.
Yeah, I guess the biggest mistake I made at that show is not buying an armload of Fine Mold's BF-109s. That's okay this year because Edward came out with theirs.
Not only came out with theirs, but they are numeric approved.
That's right, they are.
I never thought that what the Fine Mold's 109s could be superseded by any kit. And Edward has managed to do it. Now, keep in mind, those Fine Mold kits are from back in the 90s or early 2000s?
Right. Well, I think in 05, they had just come out with a bunch because at the beginning of the show, the vendor table had a stack higher than me on the table.
Yeah.
And by the second day, they were gone.
Gone. Yeah. There's a model show mistake you can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you see something and you want it, you really want it, get it.
Yeah.
Because when you go back, it might not be there.
I guess the other mistake I made at that show, there's a publisher in Eastern Europe. I guess you call it JAPO, is JAPO.
Yep.
And I bought one of their books. I should have bought every book they publish because they only do a few, and then when they go out of print, they go for sky high prices. So I should have bought everything they had.
Yeah.
Yep. Famous last words.
Yep.
So, Mike, what's your big model show mistake?
Well, I'm assuming this question is anything not necessarily that we've done, but things we've witnessed.
Well, that too.
I was at a show in Salisbury, North Carolina, and someone was carrying in a load of entries in like a half box, like a soda crate.
Right.
Like 2 inches deep, and it's like big as 24 cans or 12, however many
right.
case, 24. It was at a school that had these fire doors to the gymnasium, and it had the center column between the two doors.
Oh God, I know where this is going.
And the gap between the center column and the door frame was not as wide as that box. And the guy didn't realize it till he hit it, and the box folded in the middle, and all the kits on the left smashed into all the kits on the right, and made a big mess. Ruined his day.
Well, that reminds me of the time Mark Cable was coming to one of our meetings, and he had like 5 or 6 models in a box top that he was carrying down the stairs, and he tripped right outside the place where we meet, and they all just went flying and got various levels of destroyed. Hey, listen, if you're taking a model to a model show, I recommend individual packaging for each model in its own separate container.
Well, Warren, we missed you at our show here last week.
Oh, I missed you guys bad. I really regret it.
It was a big time.
Well, it leads me to say something, and this is episode 100, so I just wanted to let you and Dave know something. Y'all's were the first modeling podcast I ever listened to, and it continues to still be number one with me. And earlier this summer, I absolutely lost every bit of modeling mojo I ever had. I haven't seen the workbench in 3 months. But y'all, both of you, are the ones that keep me going in it and are the ones that are helping me get it back. So it's not totally gone, but I have y'all to thank for that.
We'll get you there, man. We'll get you there.
I know you will.
You'll be at the MMCL show next September.
Yep.
I guarantee it.
Well, thanks for joining in, Warren. Appreciate talking to you.
Thank you. I'll self-terminate now.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Mojovian Special Agent 003, Mr. Brandon Jacobs. Sir, how was the hike?
The hike was good. It was
long.
No, it was, we were out there about a month and 2 days, but it was the state of Washington. And as we were warned, the state of Washington was definitely more ups and downs than the rest of the trail that we did the year before. So we definitely did some climbing and some unclimbing or whatever you call it. But it was good. It was good. We were grateful to be out of Texas in August because although it was hot for the first 2 weeks, the rest of the hike, it was actually pretty chilly and really nice because it's still 95 here in Texas. But it was good. Thank you for asking. And congratulations on the 100th show. I thank you for having me participate in it.
You did us a great service going into the San Marcos National Convention. And, we're going to help you out again, have you back on when Winter Blitz comes around this winter.
Excellent.
Let's spin this wheel, man.
Let's do it.
Got to have something to talk about. What is your best learning experience with a kit or build?
Oh, my best experience, I'm going to say in 2019, when I went to the Chattanooga Nationals, the one kit I wanted to buy and bought was the Rodin Holt Caterpillar tractor, the World War I, and it was a kit that came with the cannon and the limber.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, and I bought it, and then I went into the contest room, and there was one in the contest, and the note on the contest piece of paper was something to the effect of, "This is a piece of crap, this kit," but I completed it, and the guy completed it very well, but he made a little note about just how much fun I was about to have with this Rodin kit. And I built it, and I think I did a pretty good job, but the learning experience was nothing is going to fit. The instructions weren't clear. So and it was tough because there wasn't a whole lot of YouTube at the time, and maybe, I don't know if there is now, but there wasn't a whole lot of YouTube, reviews or somebody building it. So there was some guesswork. I think I went through like 6 sanding sticks, right? Like heavy duty ones. I think even one point I went out in the garage and got regular sandpaper. Individual tracks, but it wasn't bad because they weren't that big. The track, there wasn't that many, I should say. I think overall, just building a kit like that you really have for whatever reason, a passion for that vehicle and not giving up. I think that was probably my biggest learning experience in a kit.
What about you, Dave?
My biggest was probably the first time I used pre-cut canopy masks and realized that how much of a difference they were going to make in my modeling. Because canopies for me have always been a weakness. And furthermore, if you go and look at the award-winning models that people build at the Nationals in the aircraft, canopies is what separates the men from the boys. The advent of the canopy mask, because I can't tell you how many times I would build a kit, get to the point where I had to mask the canopies, and then would stop because hand masking canopies was awful. It was a revelation to me as to how much of a difference a pre-cut canopy mask for a particular kit makes such a difference in my modeling, to the point where I have made a hard and fast rule. I will not do an aircraft model that does not have a canopy mask set available. In fact, one of the reasons I got the silhouette cutter was to be able to cut my own masks were I to encounter a canopy or a kit where there were no pre-cut masks available.
I think mine was the first time I tried to use a photo etch set. And gosh, what was it? One of the old on the mark models. Yeah, that's what it was. Super glue is great until it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't stick to everything but the parts, and I had to learn a lot of technique and just realized what a beast that was for somebody new to it.
Yeah,
it's pretty big hurdle for somebody that's never encountered it before. So I think for me, that's probably what it was.
I agree. That's a good one.
Well, Brandon, before we let you go, you've hiked the East Coast, you've hiked the West Coast. What's next for your foot slogging?
I think the next one is going to be done sitting down, and I've had on my list a Source to Sea Mississippi River paddle for a long time.
Yeah.
So really thinking about that. Also, now that my wife has done done the PCT with me, she keeps talking about wanting to do a little bit of the Appalachian Trail. And what we might do is not, because I've done it, I would not have the motivation to do the whole thing again, but to start doing some sections. And, we were talking because in 2025 when Nationals is in Virginia, boy, that just works perfect.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And the sections in Virginia are some of the most beautiful sections.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But definitely not done hiking. Just the next one's probably going to be a canoe paddle. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome, and thank you for all your help with the Nationals. And we'll be talking to you again when Winter Blitz rolls around.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
I got to ask, Brandon. Source to End would be starting well north of Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, it starts in Lake. I can't pronounce it. ITA. Somebody from Minnesota will correct me. Itzka, and it literally starts as like a little stream coming out of this lake. In the first couple weeks, it's almost like a stream until you get to Minneapolis.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty cool.
I'll tell you what. If you decide to do that, I would love to follow along, live it vicariously through you. That would be cool.
That's part of my plan. Is if I do it, it's going to be something that I probably do YouTube or something like that, like weekly updates. So definitely, I'll let you all know.
Cool.
All right, sir. Well, keep on modeling, man. We'll be talking to you a little later in the year about Winter Blitz.
Outstanding. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, folks. We got an open line. Jump on in. Spin the wheel.
There he comes.
Jason, how you doing?
Oh, tired.
Tired?
I have a seasonal job that started Friday night. I work at a haunted attraction here locally, so a little tired.
So you're up till wee hours of the morning all week.
My head didn't hit, well, it's just Friday and Saturday nights, but my head didn't hit the pillow till almost 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So October's not the best for modeling because I don't like to do it when I'm super tired.
Well, what are you modeling when you can get to it? I think I know.
Mostly Gundam stuff. The Bandai kits are really nice because they're a lot of just snap fit, and you can put as much or as little work into them as you want. Aside from that, right now, I've been sharing pictures of the Crusader that I picked up, and just out of curiosity, grabbed it on a group road trip that our Gundam group here did down to the Atlanta area. I grabbed a Tamiya Panzer II.
The old one or the new one?
It's the old one.
Okay.
It was cheap. It was $15, and I figure I can screw this up and not care.
Well, that's a good attitude. I think that's probably a good plan.
And actually, the first thing I did was I cut out some sections of ply plate, glued them down into the bottom hole, and filled the holes with super glue.
Yes, those old motorized kits have their warts, to say.
But they can still be built up to a really nice kit.
Well, yeah, they can.
We know at least one member of our club who buys those old Tamiya kits and uses them for wedge vignettes, where he'll just build a section of the vehicle and use it as kind of a base for a couple of figures.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. They look really cool.
Yep.
Well, Jason, given your seasonal employment, I'm afraid the answer is going to be no. But any of your gang going to make it up to Greenville, Tennessee, to that show?
I personally will not be because of my commitments. I'm trying to encourage some of the other folks from the group to go. I can't guarantee that any of them will, but
it's worth a shot.
Yeah, and I mentioned it to the new Saturday group that I'm a part of that started a few weeks ago, just north of me, actually about 20 minutes from my house, actually, in Clinton, Tennessee. There's a gentleman there that was purchasing some Gundam models at a shop that I was at. Because I'm kind of informally one of the heads of our local Gundam group, he was talking to me about getting a model group set up. And that was actually part of the last email I sent in. That young man, George, he and his mother and older sister were there. I think his dad was busy something at the house. I'm not sure, but he had a fun little time just building one of those little Pikachu Pokemon kits.
Yeah, you told us about this.
Yeah, that one's bi-weekly. I'm going to try and get to those this month just so I've got some kind of model socialization. The next one I've got plans Murfreesboro on the 18th of November. So hoping you guys can make it down for that one since you sadly missed Knoxville.
Yes,
we did. And it's just a busy time of year, man. So we'll see. I can't promise you that one.
Well, Mike and I've been to Murfreesboro before. We've been to that show before. We've got some good memories from that show.
Yeah, the next one after that's Chattanooga. So,
yeah. Well, Jason, you want to spin this wheel?
Go right ahead.
Oh, this was a hard one. Well, it's not hard, but we're not going to hash this out between three of us, but we can get a few on the list. Name the 10 best kits in the past 30 years. Wow, 30 years. Somebody's reaching way back with that one.
Yeah.
Ouch.
You got a favorite kit, Jason, you think's just freaking awesome?
I can list a few Gundam kits, not necessarily much of, as far as traditional kits, I don't have a whole lot of opinion on that.
It doesn't have to be traditional.
Well, I only got back into doing this stuff 2016, so.
Well, that's plenty.
In regards to the Gundam kits, best kits recently, this is one that Bandai came out with a couple of years ago now. It is the Perfect Grade Unleashed RX-78 Gundam.
And why is that one particularly good?
It's technically a reissue of the original Perfect Grade Gundam from a number of years ago, but they've gone in, they re-engineered the kit from the ground up. It actually builds in 5 stages. The first 2 involve constructing just the entire inner frame of the mobile suit, including metal parts, plated plastic parts. There's actually a sheet of self-adhesive photo etch parts that Bandai included. Then you layer all of the armor on top of that. There's a light kit that they included with the kit. There's an additional light that they included in one of the beam saber handles that lights up the beam blade when it's in the hand. When you put it in the backpack, there's clear parts that run through the backpack, and it illuminates the inside of the thruster bells on the backpack.
Sounds multimedia.
It's actually the first Gundam kit that I saw that was actually featured on Adam Savage's YouTube channel, and he's gushing over this kit. Bandai does a lot of good engineering in their kits. Other than that, I've got it in the stash. I need to get started on it. The Tamiya P38FG.
Yep, a lot of people have praised that kit.
Well engineered kit with just a Tamiya stamp of quality all over it.
So, Mike, what one kit comes to mind as just a really, really great kit?
Gosh, there's so many, man. I think the one that comes to mind, and it's in my stash, and then like Jason, I've not built it either, but I think it's Takom's FT-17 and 35th scale.
That's an amazing kit.
I mean, considering the size, it's a pretty neat little kit. I think that one kind of ushered in a new era for those newer Chinese companies, and most of them are pretty good that come out now. But that kit I picked up on my last trip to Hong Kong, and maybe I need to build it.
Yep.
And you, Dave?
Well, I've said this before. The Tamiya 72nd scale Zero is just, the engineering on that kit is next level. The way it goes together, the way the sprues are laid out, the way the parts are attached to the sprues. It was the first kit that I built where I literally was like, whoa, this is not like anything I've built before. Now, I think some other manufacturers, Arma comes to mind, are coming up to that level of quality. But keep in mind, the Tamiya Zero is 7 or 8 years old now, maybe even a little more. And it was just that next generational step in quality.
Well, Jason, thanks for joining us for our 100th episode show here. And please keep in touch like you've been doing. Don't stop. You're kind of our window into the Gunpla side of this hobby right now.
Not a problem. Congrats on the 100th, guys.
And I'll tell you what, Jason, we were talking with one of our Canadian friends who works at a hobby shop, and he was telling us that Gundam is keeping a lot of brick and mortar hobby shops in business because that's where the demand is right now.
I'd believe it.
Yep.
Just from my local group's experience, I'd believe it.
All right. We'll let you self-extricate, and we'll get on to the next one here.
Not a problem. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, Dave, let's take a break from the wheel for a minute and have a word from our sponsor.
All right.
Plastic Model Mojo is now brought to you by Model Paint Solutions, your source for Harder Steenbeck airbrushes, David Union power tools, and laboratory-grade mixing, measuring, and storage tools for use with all your model paints, be they acrylic, enamels, or lacquers. Check them out at www.modelpaintsolutions.com. Peter Kwong.
Hello.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Dave's good.
I'm good.
Congratulations on 100.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. How you doing tonight?
Good. It's a PST time, so it was about 6:38. So it's pretty early for me compared to you guys.
Where on the West Coast are you located?
Vancouver.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're up in Jim Bates territory.
Yeah. And they have their Seattle show every year. So hopefully this year or next year I'll be able to make it.
Good. Well, I saw your teaser question there. How's the Musaru build coming? Well, it's not yet. It's still in the box. It's right back there behind my laptop. I see it.
Is it taunting you?
No, I'm watching some of the other builds, and it's an interesting little kit. Quality issues, maybe some of the kits do, maybe they all do. I don't know, but I got a plan. I got a good plan, and it'll come along eventually.
Mike is such a speed builder.
Yeah, right.
That unlike some of the other guys, he doesn't have to jump into it right away because he knows that, kind of like John Bonanni last year, 10 days before the deadline. Yeah, what the heck? I'll finish it.
Yeah, those are like superhuman powers. I don't know.
Yeah,
Peter, what genre do you build primarily?
Generally airplanes.
Okay.
But I also dabble in a number of different things like Gundams as well. I've got a couple of those, a couple of Star Wars things, some armor kits, and quite a lot of F1s that I still have to go through. Have to start building them. So it's a lot of interesting things that sort of besides airplanes that I want to build, but just can't seem to get to them.
there is nothing wrong with being a generalist. That building. Honestly, I think some of the best builders I know are folks who dabble back and forth between different genres.
Well, I hope it improves my my build quality.
Tim Nelson out there in that part of the country, in the United States, comes to mind.
Yes, absolutely.
He builds across the spectrum, and it's all just excellent. So if you make it to Seattle, I imagine you'll see some of Tim's work at that show.
Yeah.
Oh, looking forward to it. Yeah. Well, I hope it works for me.
Well, Jim keeps trying to talk me into coming out to the West Coast and going up to Vancouver. So who knows? I may end up there one day.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, we have a show coming up in October, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, Jim will be there for sure.
And send us the information, and we'll get the word out as best we can.
Absolutely.
Okay, sure.
Well, are you interested in spinning this wheel?
Sure. I'll take a vowel for 500.
There you go. There you go.
Strangest thing you've ever seen at a model show.
Oh God, that could go so many ways.
Yeah, some of them we probably shouldn't go.
Yeah, we probably should try and stay relatively PG.
Yeah, gosh, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anything really weird. It's all been pretty staid.
Oh, and you haven't been to enough model shows.
Yeah. Not looking in the right places, obviously.
I'll generalize because I'm going to go pick on any one person out there. Who knows? They may be listening to the show, but there's always at least one character at the show that either their appearance or their olfactory emissions or something along those lines usually makes for some interesting attention from the other show attendees. So
yes,
I've seen over the years, I've seen quite a bit of that. There's the hobby brings out a lot of people, and a lot of them are kind of eccentric. I think we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Let's face it, this can be, if you for some people, a very solitary hobby. Maybe some people it's a little too solitary, and they could use getting out a little bit more. That's absolutely true. Now, one of the things this odd things I see at hobby shows, one of the things, Mike, do you remember the Phoenix Follies figures from back in the 80s and 90s?
Yes, I remember those.
You would go to a show and somebody would have entered several of those things, and you're looking at they're for want of a better way to describe it, these figures were sculpted by people who had never seen a real human woman, and therefore they were exaggerated in many respects.
Oh, very exaggerated proportions.
Yes.
Yes.
And the poses and everything else, and you're like, why are you doing that? Yes, everybody can model something and everybody has their own interest, but you just looked at those and you went,
well, on the vein of that, you probably remember, I can't remember where it was, Dave. It's probably, I want to say it was the Nationals in Ohio. I'm not sure which one, but for a while, the society was struggling with those things.
Yes.
They had a tinted off area, remember?
Yeah. It's called Rule. The rule, by the way, is known as Rule 5. And yeah, it basically said that if a figure had certain attributes, that it had to be placed in an area that was not accessible to minors, because there are certain legal consequences to that that were a challenge. Now, thank gosh, most of that seems to have kind of disappeared, and those challenges don't seem to be the same as they were in the 80s and 90s. But I would always be amazed at those things and be like, "What's your motivation here?"
Yeah, that would explain why I haven't actually seen them in the Seattle or Vancouver show. I think
they probably pretty much disappeared.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't even know if Phoenix Follies is still in business.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of others to backfill.
Yeah, there probably are.
I know Hasegawa makes a bunch of figures.
They do.
Large scale figures. I didn't know they did them until they started showing up on some searches, and like, oh, they make these. Yeah, holy smokes! That's why there's no airplanes. They're busy cranking these
voluptuous women out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am sure that is not an insignificant portion of the Hasegawa income line.
It must be. It's huge. They got like several different lines, and they're weirdly named.
Yes.
Because some of them have more clothing than others, and it was also must be a huge market. They got like several lines of the stuff.
Well, Peter, thank you for joining us for our 100th episode here, and for taking a spin on the wheel. And we're glad to have you as a listener.
Well, thank you very much.
That's true with everybody, but thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. And I love the podcast, and yeah, it really sparks my mojo. Ever since I started listening to it, looking at my stash more and just, I got to build this stuff.
That's what we say. Listen, that's the highest compliment you could pay us. Thank you.
All right. Best wishes and congrats again.
Thank you.
All right. Somebody jump in. There's no line. Here we go.
John, how you doing?
I'm doing good here. How are you guys? And congratulations on number 100.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your mic's a little hot.
Okay. Sorry.
That's
no
okay.
problem.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So what are you doing tonight? You look like you're in your hobby room.
Yes, I am. I was working on a mecha.
Okay.
It's a lot like a Gundam.
Right.
And I hope to have it done for our contest in a couple weeks.
When is your contest?
October 14th.
Okay.
Give us the rundown on that, because that was our whole point of trying to get you on here, was so you could pitch this show.
Okay. IPMS Dunlin, we're in Northwest Indiana. Our contest is on October 14th, Saturday, October 14th. It's going to be our second contest in 12 years. We did very well last year with 528 entries. We're doing a couple things that it's a little bit different. So we do a first, second, and third, but we're going to put a request of the people that come to the contest if they'd like to do gold, silver, bronze, or first, second, third. We're also going to copy one of the other clubs, and offhand I can't remember it. I believe it's the PaxCon Club. We've got Post-it notes, and we're going to want some to give some information back to the modelers. A couple other things that we have is, one, there is we're at a Moose Lodge, and I would assume a lot of people know what goes on in the Moose Lodge. There will be modeling fluid available. And we also...
That makes every contest better.
We also have, and this is going to be weather permitting, the Winnemucca Car Club is going to come out and have their 1-to-1 cars out for display. And we're actually going to present a People's Choice Award to the vehicle that the people that come to the contest that they like the best.
MMCL has done that. We meet in a building owned by the local Antique Vehicle Preservation Society. And for a number of years, for our contest, they would come out and hold a car show concurrent with the contest, and that always proved to be very, very popular and successful. So I think you'll find that that's going to be a very popular feature.
We're hoping so. I think the Winnemac Car Club guys are going to enjoy coming in and seeing the models too. That was one of the things that we actually went and talked to them at one of their meetings about coming in, and they seemed more than happy to.
John, we wish you all the success with your show. And that's your second one, you said?
This second one in 12 years. We used to hold them back in the 90s and the early 2000s, but it stopped around 2010. A lot of the guys got out of the club, and we started back up, and we did real good last year.
Yeah, well, Jeff Groves was up at your show, and Inch says that he's coming again this year, and he highly praised your all show. He really liked it,
and we appreciate that. I believe he put some video on YouTube also.
Well, John, thanks for joining us for our 100th episode, and good luck with your show, and I hope it's a rousing success. We really like promoting the shows, and I know. If you had that many entries at your one last year, I think probably sitting on a pretty good success opportunity again. Man, we've been promoting a lot of shows, Dave.
I know. Well, listen, I've said this before, and I'll say it again until I'm blue in the face. If you're a modeler and you're not going to shows near you, you're missing out on some of the best part of modeling, which is. And I'm not referring to the contest. You can enter, not enter. I don't care. The social aspect that takes place face to face at a contest is just fantastic. You and I got to hang out for 4 or 5 hours or more with a bunch of our modeling friends. And we're sitting there having conversation after conversation about interesting modeling and sometimes non-modeling related stuff with guys who share our general interest in modeling. It's fantastic. Uh-oh.
Jim.
Yeah, I'm going to continue the trend of advertising for shows. Peter had mentioned the IPMS Vancouver show is Saturday. It's actually next Saturday, which is October 7 at the Bonsor Community Center in beautiful Burnaby, British Columbia.
And are you going to be there?
I will be there. I'm bringing Gundam Josh. I'm bringing President Eric Brubaker of Amps, and I'm bringing Rick Lawler.
And you need to see if you can find Peter there.
I hopefully will find Peter there.
So it's right. Say hello in person.
Absolutely.
Jim, I know you want to spin the wheel.
Hey, spin the wheel, man.
Jim
you
lives.
Spin me right round like a record, baby.
Oh, God.
Oh, two musical references. Oh, man. Jim, what are your favorite references?
I was just about to send an email to a podcast called The Mojo because you guys talking last week about your favorite authors. I think I'm going to cheat a little bit. So historically, I've always said it's a book called 60 Years. It was written by Larry Milbury. It came out when the RCF was 60. It's 40 years old because the RCF's turning 100 next year. And it's just kind of the history of Canadian aviation, Canadian military aviation. And I've loved that book since I was a kid. But I think I'm going to cheat for my second one and say the internet.
Okay.
We'll accept that.
Yeah, I will fully accept that.
Because it's amazing you can even find primary sources, photographs. We talk all the time about this stuff that families are putting out on the internet or hopefully not throwing away. And it's amazing stuff you never thought you would see.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What about you, DK?
Well, shout out to Dana Bell. Dana does some of the best reference books on particular aircraft that I've ever seen. The level of detail that he does is, and his depth of knowledge is just flat out amazing. Detail and scale. If you're building an aircraft and there's a detail and scale available, you definitely should get it, because it's going to give you those close-up pictures of details like wing lights or weapon stations or landing gear that are the things that you're going to want to be able to see a close-up photograph. They're photographed from a modeler's perspective. And then I mentioned Shores and Cull for inspirational reading. Any book by Shores and Cull, constantly, if I'm reading one of their books, I'm getting the urge to build something they're talking about. Mike?
Well, I mentioned in the last episodes that Nuts and Bolts series.
Mhm.
I love those books.
Yeah,
they've got so much information in them. The line drawings are good. But Jim's right. I mean, the internet, and I'm going to include German eBay as part of the internet. So much stuff. I mean, from everything from Soviet milepost markers to obscure tanks. Rare vehicles you don't normally see in reference books, and new photographs have never been published. I just love finding that stuff.
Yes.
Really, really, really do.
Yep.
Yep.
And more of it's hitting the internet every day. And once it hits the internet, it's kind of forever.
I don't know. Evan had a little trouble with that site. He didn't save any of those photos off of.
Yep.
So it can go away.
Yes, it can go away, but the internet Wayback Machine is out there, and in addition, you're right. If you find photos you like, you should save them to your local hard drive.
Well, Jim, what's going on with Scale Canadian TV?
Well, I did a couple videos from my trip to Canada, and I'll probably do another episode sometime this week.
Good.
I do have a model show to go to on Saturday, so maybe before or after.
That would be cool. Or a video of the show.
You know, I'm not jumping up and down to do that. I was really surprised that the British Columbia and Alberta stuff didn't perform as well. Usually when I'm on location, those get the biggest hits, and they didn't this time. So I'm trying to rethink what the plan is, but who knows? I'll hit 100 episodes someday, but congratulations to you guys for doing it today.
You'll get there, Jim.
All right. Well, great talking to you. Have a great episode 100.
Thanks, Jim. Dave, with all the goings on around our 100th episode, hopefully you've made it to the bench some. What's the workbench looking like?
Crowded, disheveled, reaching peak critical mess. But there's activity going on. The F8 fuselage is almost completely painted. I've just got one small section left. And so that's moving along. It wasn't done by the regional, but maybe done by Cincinnati if we make it there. If not, it'll be done by the end of the year, but it'll get done sometime.
Well, let me ask you about that one. I assume the wing joint facilitates marrying it all together after you're done painting?
Yeah, what happened? The F8 had a wing that was actually hinged and raised for takeoff.
Right.
So when you could, unlike almost any other model, aircraft model, you can actually add the wings after, and the joint is nice enough that it just snaps in. So on this kit, at least.
That's convenient.
It is very convenient because I was able to finish the wing completely separately, and then I'll add the wing to the fuselage really at the end of the build. I'm taking a little bit of time as far as painting the fuselage because I'm trying to get a particular effect, and it's working really, really well. And so that's coming along, not as fast as I want, but moving. Because I want to be able at the end of the year to say, I finished this, and this. In addition, as much as I talk about group builds and getting sucked in and all, our friends, the Septemberists, are going to do a group entry for Madison, which is the theme is D-Day. And so thanks to Dr. David Geldmacher coming up with a theme of the D-Day beaches, the engineering vehicles. The group is doing a bunch of different 72nd scale and 76 scale Hobart's funnies and other engineering vehicles. And we're also allowed to do landing craft. So I have Trumpeter's LCM-3 landing craft, and I started building it. And it's far from a perfect kit, but it's not an awful kit. And I got to say, you know, unlike sometimes you get into a group build and it feels like a slog, this one doesn't feel like a slog. It really does feel like something I'm truly enjoying. You don't realize how big the LCMs are.
To have to show it some more. I haven't seen it yet, I don't think.
I think I've shown one or two pieces on the dojo, but yes, I need to get a full shot on so people can see it. And other than that, like I said, I'm at critical mess. In fact, when Skippy came over to build over the weekend, I had trouble clearing out a space for him. So I really, organization and time management are two things I'm struggling with, and I need to get better at both, and both of them will help my bench.
Feel your pain.
Yeah. So what's up on your bench?
Well, it's the E16 Paul. I've got all the black panel outlining done. Talk about a slog. Why'd I start with a float plane?
Well, because you're interested in float planes.
I know.
You build what you're interested in, and that's the way it should be. Because if you're not interested in it, building it's going to quickly become a slog.
I tell you what, the inside-facing top surfaces of the pontoons,
yes,
are really hard to get to.
Yes, they are. But then again, they're also hard to see, so you don't have to worry quite as much.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. I'm trying my best. I think if I was doing it over, I would figure out a way. Well, I'd probably paint the tops of the pontoons before I married them to the struts.
Yeah.
So that's the way that goes.
Well, lesson learned.
Yeah. Up next on that one is coming back with light grays and whites to kind of cut back in where I overdid it with the black, and then hoping to use some other grays and browns and blues and yellows on certain panels and control surfaces and pick those out a little bit. And then it's time for the top coat. Well, I got to get the canopy on there.
Yes. Well, you've got a canopy coming for me.
Well, thank you for that. Because like I posted on the dojo, both my two fairly recent vintage kits are both marred by the same through material knit line kind of defect. And they're just not going to work. And
the one that I have does not look like it has that defect to me. So I'll let you judge it when you get it, but I'm sending that up to you, along with a University of Tennessee coaster.
All right. Something new for the workbench.
That's right. So, you've actually got two other projects that are one project in two parts as far as the KV-85.
Yeah, I haven't touched the model since I had my little negative modeling incident last time we talked.
Yeah.
But I've gone and collected some creek gravel from the gravel bar down at the creek by the school down the road from us, and got that all sifted out to a size I like. So hopefully I'll be moving ahead with that some more soon.
So what did Robin think of you using her kitchen sifter to sift creek gravel?
Well, I didn't do that, Dave.
Good for you.
I used one of Jack's, my son's sifters, and it was too fine. So then I had to use, Actually, as a cloth net bag I had actually ended up being about the right size. So
Yeah.
didn't have to go buy anything. Didn't have to go buy 10 yards of a metal screen to make a 1 foot square patch.
Well, there's a great answer for the question we get on the wheel about hardware store.
Yeah.
Various grades of sift. If you do a lot of dioramas and you're sifting for natural material, you go to the hardware store and you can get several different grades of mesh and make your own sifter.
What else on the KV85? Not much just yet. I think I got to start painting some railroad ties. That's probably the next step on that one.
Yep. And I'll be interested to see. I think that has a lot of potential for a lot of interest.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Anything else from you?
Nope, that's it. How about, was there anything else on your bench?
Not yet. Moose Roo needs to get on the bench, but hadn't made it yet.
Okay, yeah, you need to get on that quick.
We got another Septemberist on the line.
Yep.
John Vickus.
Hey, guys.
John, how you doing?
Hello, Dr. V.
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We sure can.
Not only can we hear you, we can see you.
Ah, that may not be a good thing, but go ahead.
We'll move along there. You've got a face for podcasting, Hey.
Right.
Well, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while since, no, we saw you at the National Convention.
That's right.
Yeah, just briefly, kind of passing through. Yeah.
Well, you made it. That's the important part.
Well, I did, except it was too short because I had to go up to a nephew's wedding up in Chicago that same weekend. So it was a quick in, quick out, but it was good.
Yeah.
It was a fun time. Fun time seeing you guys and the other Septemberists.
Yep.
Jim and David.
It was a great time.
And it got me to finish that mosquito.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes.
It was only 2 years late. Yeah.
Well, same as me. I'm right there with you, brother.
How's the Salt Lake crowd?
It's good. It's good. Right now, I'm working on a PowerPoint for a week from Tuesday's meeting on the 7 different kinds of lights that World War II aircraft have.
Okay.
So do a little PowerPoint on that, putting together photos and stuff.
I thought you were going to say it was the 7 types of acrylic paint that were released last week.
No.
Well, hey, John, do us a favor. After you give that presentation, go to the dojo and put it up, make it available, because I'd actually like to see that.
We'll see how it turns out. Yeah.
Well, John, you want to spin the wheel?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Folks are finally figuring out how to get in.
Yeah, I know.
You may have to enlighten some folks.
I had to change my microphone. Actually, my wife had to change the microphone.
Okay. I don't like this one.
Oh.
I'm going to spin it again.
Okay.
Spin it again. Mulligan.
That was a mulligan.
That's
that one
fine.
was not interesting.
All right.
It was a leftover. Oh, and he's drinking wine.
Oh, yes. Well, not only is he drinking wine, he gifted us some fine wine at the Nationals.
Well, this is a repeat, but it's a good one. What life skill has the hobby taught you?
I remember the answers from the first time around. Those were really good. Those are going to be hard to top.
It'd be hard not to repeat for me.
Well, that's fine.
Besides patience and really being careful in how you present things. That was such a wonderful thing. Life skills. One thing is to not base your entire self-worth on the award you win at a contest.
Good choice.
So many people get so upset, and I think it goes to the fact that they think that somehow if they don't win a first, that they're not good enough somehow. And no, it's just a bunch of people, and you pays your money, it takes your chances, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And like you said, the best part of it, of any kind of contest, the contest is the actual least part of it.
Exactly.
Meeting friends. Yeah.
Well, and if you had fun building the model and you like it, there's nothing else that matters. Whether it won an award at a contest or not, literally does not matter.
What about you, Dave? You got anything new from the last time we had this question?
Patience is obviously one. Curiosity, I would say, is another one for me, that when I'm building something, it stimulates the curiosity to go read about the original item, either a particular set of markings. Okay, so I want to read about the guys who flew it, that's the Mosquito that I did, was motivated totally by the fact that I wanted to model the aircraft of these two guys who got killed on this raid, who to memorialize them, to remember them. So I think the hobby really stimulates curiosity, and I think that's a great thing. How about you, Mike?
Well, last time this came up, I talked about my youth and how it taught me to interact with adults that were not authority figures, parents, teachers, principals, and that sort of thing. And I still think that's probably one of the biggest things I got early on from all of this. But I'm going to pile on, Dave, the curiosity and the pursuit of that curiosity, the pursuit of knowledge, and how to research things, and all that just gets snowballed when you really get into a project. And I really like that a lot. So I think keeping those skills honed is probably carried over to my professional life to some degree. And I think that's been valuable. So yeah, the exploratory nature, the curiosity, and keeping that going.
I can see that.
Sounds great. Yeah.
John, say hi to everybody out there in Salt Lake for us.
I will. Absolutely. Yeah. Love listening to you guys. It's the thing I look forward to every month. So every couple of weeks, I should say.
Thank you.
Good. Oops.
That's all right.
Well, one more thing. What was the magic way you got into this episode? Last time we did this, it didn't seem like folks were having as much trouble, and I don't know if something's changed that I didn't realize, or maybe you can shed some light on it for the folks out there in the audience.
I kept going through and following the steps, and then nothing would happen. But then when my wife, who actually knows about technical stuff, she went through it, and then she changed. She just took a different option on the microphone.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And that seemed to clear things through.
Gotcha.
So
interesting. All right. Well, maybe we do a little more homework next time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, guys.
Thanks, John. Look forward to next time we see you. Evan's in the chat room.
Yes, he is.
He's cooking dinner.
Yes, he is. Paella.
It's Duncan.
All right.
Duncan.
Good day. How's it going?
Can you hear us?
Yep, we can.
Is it just you, or so you got a whole pile of people with you?
Oh, just me.
How's things in Hamilton right now?
Oh, not too bad. We're actually it's that time of year where everyone comes back from holidays and the shows start up in the fall, and we start talking about HeritageCon in March.
That's not that far away.
No, it isn't. Yeah, we definitely thought we might be sort of, same time last year, I think we thought we were a little bit behind the curve, and I can feel that now that we're October, I can feel that pressure again, that Thanksgiving for us is next weekend, Halloween, Christmas, HeritageCon.
How's the planning for HeritageCon next year going?
Generally well. We're looking to line up some guests again. Just start. It really is just sort of that kickoff in the fall of getting organized, and we'll start meeting bi-weekly now all the way up, into the new year, and then that'll shift to weekly. Our biggest sort of push this year is we're doing a revamp of our club website, and then also bringing back online registration, which we did not last year but the year before, but we sort of let it slide last year just with second year after the pandemic, looking to make some changes, but now we're trying to find a bit more robust registration platform that allows for just easier data management and things of that nature in the back end.
Well, what's your gut feel? I know last year, coming out of the pandemic, things were kind of large. I know we sure had a big time. We're just completely impressed by the number of people that showed up at the museum.
Yeah, I think we're expecting probably the same, because if anything, we had to turn some people away last year. As you both would know, you were well, there bright and early, but we had, parking lot issues and things later on. Now, I think, on a positive side, we've figured out some solutions to those challenges. The museum's working with the airport, which is inherently right next door, to get sort of better overflow parking available. Given that they're not as busy on a Sunday. And then when it comes to sort of just overall capacity of the building, one of the sort of light bulbs that went off was that, when you look at occupancy of a building, and I come from a engineering and architectural background, so it generally makes sense. It's about the amount of space you have, right, that you can fit bodies into. And inherently, if you move airplanes out of an airplane hangar, which is essentially what the museum space is, you create more space, which allows you to have more people. So I think that's going to really help us next year, because inherently they have to move a number of the aircraft that are typically in the museum space on a day-to-day outside. So I don't know what the new number is, but I think it'll overcome our challenges. I think just when you have over 2,000 people in the first 2 hours, that was just pretty incredible last year.
Really, it was just, I cannot tell you how jaw-dropping it was to see a one-day show of that size and scope in that facility. Mike and I are already well into the plans for 2024. We will be there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we got our troop of folks trying to figure out our accommodations. Our friends in Ottawa.
Yes.
I think that sort of speaks to why we it's the location, I think, that helps us a lot. Not just the venue, but just also the geographic location. We're an hour less. You can beat a Buffalo in less than an hour. Ottawa, I used to live there. Now live in Guelph. It's a 5-hour drive. It's not insignificant, but it's not. You're doing what, 8 to 10. But when Canada is a big country geographically, but actually very small populations, particularly in comparison to the States. And like 20% of the entire country lives within 2 or 3 hours of Hamilton. So you can draw on a very large population to come to the space. So, yeah.
More folks from south of the border need to show up there, because it is eye-openingly impressive. And I said this at the time when we were there in March, that it is second only to a U.S. national as far as seeing a show that just presents that level of depth and exhibition. The number of models was impressive. The cross-section of what was entered was amazing. So I am really looking forward to 2024.
Yeah, so are we. We're gonna, like everything, you have to make improvements and changes every year. Category diversification, particularly in the sort of sci-fi, mecha, Gundam, etc., is an area of focus. I think that's for a lot of clubs these days, is trying to diversify that. We're looking forward to it. It's a lot of work. Obviously, when it's your show, you guys just had your show there, and a couple of weeks ago. It's your show is for others, not yourself, right? You spend the time leading up to it. So yeah, it'll be good.
Well, is any of your gang going to make it to Madison?
Yeah, a whole bunch of us. One of our members, often in the past, pre-COVID, he would organize bus trips to ones that were drivable. So Gates Bisson he's mentioned that he's going to be doing that again, which, for those that want to just hang out on a tour bus, and that allows him to, get people from other clubs. I think his intent is to do that. A couple of the other folks from the club, we may leave a little earlier and stay a little later than the bus trip, just to have a little bit more flexibility. But, Madison to the GTA, Toronto, Hamilton area, it's 8 hours. It's very reasonable. You can leave at whatever time gets you through Detroit or wherever you're going to cross, at an appropriate time. And it's a day trip. It's no big deal, relatively
It's
speaking.
almost the same amount of time for us, and Mike and I are looking forward to driving it.
And AMPS, I went to AMPS last year, and speaking of like sort of spread of that was 6 weeks after Heritage Con last year, and I purposely wore some T-shirts and stuff, and the number of people who actually knew about our show and had gone from upper New York State, etc. So that's another show in Indiana that's going to be really accessible as well. I think it's 5 or 6 hours.
Well, good. We're planning on being at Amps in South Bend, so we'll see you there as well as at Heritage Con.
Well, let's spin the wheel.
You got it.
For sure.
What tool or modeling product do you wish exists but does not?
Oh, well, as I'm staring down a tiger that I bought from from a club mate, I'm a big fan of molded on Zimmerit, and I know there are products, Attack and things and Cavalier back in the day, but even that sometimes seems, just an easier way of putting Zimmerit on a tank. And I know there's product. You can buy the kits right out of the box, but I'm actually intimidated. I haven't done it in a while, and I'm sitting here looking at the hull of this tank and saying, does it go back in the box, and do I move on to something else, or do I just bite
So
the
you
bullet?
want a can? You want a can of Mr. Zimmerit where you just spray it?
Yeah, exactly. I want to just be able to I want the equivalent of an AK wash, right? And we just did a seminar at the club the other day, and it was all product based. You want to weather tracks, here's a product, there's a product. And I think the most equivalent would be something like the Attack Zimmerit sheets that, the challenge is they're usually very specific, and this is for this Dragon kit or this Tacom kit, and they don't make one anymore, or they don't have one anymore for this Dragon kit. And I'm like, do I try and modify something, or do I just watch Night Shift again and again and again, and get it done? So if I could get a can of AK Zimmerit spray and just make Bob's my uncle, this hull would, I'd stare that down a lot quicker than I am right now.
That's a great choice.
Well, I think that'd be right up there with mine. I need a bottle of Mr. Model Finisher.
Bottle of Mr. Model Finisher. We all need that one.
If you saw the stack of Tupperware bins that have started kits that have they will get done, I feel your pain. Yeah,
Dave, what do you need, man?
God, if they didn't exist, I'd say canopy masks. Oh, I need a bottle of Mr. Motivation to go along with your bottle of Mr. Kit Finisher, because sometimes, and again, I should not complain ever about anything. I've got a wonderful life and just shouldn't complain about anything. But when I come down to the model bench at 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night, after a full day of work and after coming home and doing dinner or whatever, visiting with the family, taking care of whatever family needs need to be taken care of. And I sit down at the bench and I stare at it, but I don't do anything just because there's no, the mental energy has all been drained out of me. So a bottle of Mr. Mental Energy or Mr. Motivation.
I know what you mean. I'm in a consulting business like you and a lawyer, and I've kind of decided that I can only paint on the weekends.
Yep.
I can build in the week, and I don't, same thing like coming in late at night or whatever. But the thought of getting an airbrush out on a Wednesday night and then having to clean it up.
Right. No, I completely agree with you that painting is one of those things that's particularly mentally taxing. And so it's not like you can just come down, sit down at your bench after a really long day and hop right into it, or you're going to screw it up. So, I can see making that call. That makes perfect sense.
Well, Duncan, we appreciate all the work from Hamilton on the Mooseroot Cup. We are, I've not started mine yet, but we've actually, Dave Goldfinch started a Facebook page, and we actually have non-podcasters in that group. Maybe you've seen it, that
I have. Yeah. I've joined it to watch along. It's great.
And, a lot of fun. I got to get going, but We really appreciate it. Yeah, we ran into Lester from Lightspeed Global at the National Convention, and
yeah, that was a great
conversation. That was a lot of fun. In fact, I've got a box going to him tomorrow. Well, to rendezvous with him out in Las Vegas at a trade show that's got that new. What's the model company, Dave, making the new Corsair?
Magic Kit?
Yeah,
oh, Magic.
So,
yeah,
he ended up needing it back. So,
well, one of our club members helped put some of the demo pieces together that went to Texas.
It was a great time talking with him. He was really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Duncan, thanks for joining us for the 100th episode, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. I've been following since 2020, and it's now on to your next 100. So there you go.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Hi, Mike and Dave.
Scott.
Yes, hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Hey, congratulations on the 100th episode.
Thank you.
Good to hear from you. It's nice hanging with you there that last night or so in Texas.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great. Glad we had a chance to do that.
Well, what's going on with you?
Not much, but man, some great conversations tonight, and I tell you, that wheel has not been easy tonight.
I think there's some good ones yet in here. We've got plenty, so hopefully we'll get through a few more of these. What you been working on lately?
Well, that's the problem. I'm still having to get my model bench together. I had to move rooms after renovation, and just waiting to hear on some organization tips. Future episode.
We're getting close. Model airplane maker Mr. Chris Wallace just moved as well, and he's got a new model space, and hopefully once he gets all settled in, we'll talk about that, and maybe there will be some advice coming out of that.
Yeah,
good. Looking forward to that. Yeah, in fact, sorry, instead of answering a question on the wheel, I thought I'd be a little bit of a rebel tonight and color outside the lines, and actually I have a question for you guys.
All right, we can do that.
All right. So, like work-life balance, how about hobby-life balance? I heard Dave talk about it a little bit, and he says he gets down to the model room at 10:30, and I'm like you, I just don't have any more energy that time of night. Getting older and getting tired. So, just the question, like, I'm similar situation to you guys. You got the day job, kids are teenagers, busy activities. How do you handle your hobby-life balance?
I'll tell you, it's tough. Because it's a hobby, it always comes last. I mean, my bosses would not appreciate it if I called in and said, "You know what, guys, I'm not coming in today because I'm gonna spend the day airbrushing." And I suspect the model wife, as wonderful as she is, would probably not take it well if on a weekend I went, honey, I know the grass needs cutting and the pool needs cleaning and et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to blow all that off to just go down to my model room. The hobby by its nature is always going to come last because it is a hobby. But I do think, and I've talked to Jim about this, and I've talked to Skippy about this, and I think I've probably even talked to Mike about it. Better time management, I think, would free up more time for modeling. I spend way too many hours wasting time, and whether that's staring at a phone screen or procrastinating on getting something that needs to be done at home done or whatever. If I were better organized and managed my time better, I think that I would. I think that might give me more hobby time. Mike?
I tell you, it's you take it when you can get it is what I do. I've got the same situation. I've got one who's a sophomore in college, but he's still around some. He's got his activities we're helping him with, and just life stuff he needs help with. And my other son is a junior in high school. And there's just a lot going on. And it's not just modeling. And this show is, and June was particularly hard for us, hard for me. It was had so much going on that I'm not getting anything done at the bench, and I've got to delay episodes and get stuff done when I can. I take it when I can get it. I'm typically not much good late at night either, and it's just it's usually last. Another thing that I've had to keep in check of late is because of the show, because of the podcast, Plastic Model Mojo. We would like to get to as many shows as we can get to in a year, but there's holidays, there's birthdays, there's all kinds of stuff. There's other obligations, and we're often expressing interest in getting to this show or that show, and like this show in Chicago, the MMSI show. We'd love to go to that, but that's just not going to be possible this year. So we got to pick and choose. We got to pick and choose what shows we go to. We have to pick and choose the times we get to be at the bench. It's not that different than other, work-life balance, but I just think because, like Davis said, because it's a hobby, it's just going to take a backseat to a lot of other things, as much as we'd like to be doing it as much as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And, you're like a lot of the rest of us, but as you touched upon, you not only have the hobby, but then you also have the podcast. So that's a lot more to fit in too, but appreciate it.
Well,
really enjoy listening to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. And are you going to make it to Madison?
Oh, yeah. Yep,
Okay.
Definitely. Already planning on it.
Any other shows you might be hitting between now and then?
Yeah, funny you ask. Actually, West Michigan has a show this Saturday. So going to be heading down there with a couple of guys from mid-Michigan.
And I'm not sure. I don't remember what genre you model, but what about the AMP show in South Bend, Indiana?
That'd be fun sometime, primarily aircraft.
Okay.
I'd like to do armor, but just not nearly as good as what I see out there. But, PAXCon actually would have been awesome to make if it was closer.
Well,
yeah.
Scott, as you know, I'm primarily an aircraft modeler.
Yep.
I will tell you, AMPS Nationals are really, really good to go to, even as an aircraft modeler, because you can't help but be impressed by the level of quality. And in addition to that, seeing the cross-genre stuff really can add to your modeling. I would recommend, even if you're an aircraft modeler, I would highly recommend the AMPS National.
Yeah, sure. Someday. Love to make it.
All right. Well, we'll see you in Madison if we don't see you before then, and have fun at the shows you're going to.
All right. Thanks a lot. Look forward to that.
Thank
see
you.
you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, Dave, we'll take another little break from the wheel here, and we've been to a show, so there's been some potential here.
Yeah.
What broke your wallet?
Kits, believe it or not. And again, for a person with a stash like mine, kits should not be the wallet breaker. But the MMCL show had, I think it was 85 or 87 vendor tables. Lots of good vendors, great mix of vendors who have storefronts, vendors who are professional online vendors, and people selling collections and all. And there were some really great prices. And I ended up buying 6 kits, and including another Tamiya Zero, because I'm sorry, $6 for a Tamiya Zero. I will buy that all day long.
You'll need about 4 of those for your Akagi deck.
See, thinking ahead. That's a thinking man right there. You have now justified a future wallet break. Speaking of which, Jeff Groves and Jim and I were all speculating what the list price was going to be on that carrier deck.
I don't know. I bet it's not as much as you think it's going to be.
See, and that's where I'm leaning toward. But they both tended to lean.
TACOM's not the high bar.
True enough. So, but thank you for helping me justify a future purchase.
Hell, I might end up with one too. So.
Oh yeah, no, you got to have one. And I bought. David Doyle was down selling his books.
And buying mine.
And buying yours, yes. You had a book collection you were liquidating, and you were liquidating for a very, very, very fair price. And boy, you sold over half of those books, didn't you?
Yeah. We'll get to me in a minute, but what else did you buy?
And so from David Doyle, I'm building this LCM3, and it just so happens he has a series on U.S. landing craft, and Volume 1 covers the LCM3. So that was an automatic buy, and it was really helpful. There's some good reference to help me in what I'm doing. So that was it for me. Did I buy a decal sheet?
I don't think you did.
I don't think I did, which is rare and unusual for me.
That's for sure.
So that's I think everything I bought. How about you?
Well, you already mentioned it, but I did take that book collection, and I took the books and no extra cash. I was net zero on cash money in my pocket when I started.
So you were counting on generating money you could then recycle.
Yeah, that's right. So we recycled a little money. I sold about half those books. I put back some of the money so I wouldn't spend it. But I did end up picking up what I get. Well, I got Evan a T-34.
Yes.
That he was looking for.
I do love the fact that Evan got something from our show and managed to stay in Canada to do it.
I bought an AFV Club Churchill, the Mark III and the Dieppe boxing.
Gotcha. AFV Club, that's who it was.
Yeah, so
Jim and I were discussing that. I couldn't remember the manufacturer.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Gosh, what else did I buy? I forgot. Another kit. Shit, I'm going to go look.
Turn around. It's got to be behind you.
Mine's in the furnace room.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, I got to go look.
Okay, go look. I'm going to feel stupid.
The other thing I picked up was the Fine Molds Type 89 tank.
Oh, yes, that's right. And you picked it up in the original boxings.
Yeah, the Armor Modeling magazine boxings. They it was a subscription kit. Or I don't know how it worked. I can't remember. I remember when it first hit the market like that. Is pretty impossible to get for a lot of people. Fine Molds boxes that now, and there's two of their normal Armor series boxings. There's a Girls and Panzer version of that kit, but I just thought it was cool to get it in the subscription boxings, the 3 boxes.
And that is a neat tank because it's so unusual looking. B, it was a pre-World War II tank, was used in China and ended up being used particularly in China and related Southeast Asian areas into 44. I mean, that thing was being used for well beyond it being obsolete.
Well, it's a beautiful little kit. I think it's got one issue that the engine decks from the later version was they built very few of.
Right. And I think they went back and corrected that in their boxings.
They may have, but
because there's a gas version and a diesel version, isn't there?
Well, I'm not sure if that's it or not. There's whatever the difference is. It's in that engine deck, center engine deck section, I believe. And there's a build article from Steven Zaloga that's out there on the net that shows what he did to correct it. And mine might end up being done in CAD and 3D printed, but
there you go. There you go.
Glad to get it. And I bought one more thing too.
Which was
a set of 72nd scale marching German soldiers from Preiser.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You spotted Preiser figures, and as Steve Hustad has told you, when you see those, get them because they're hard to come by.
Well, they're neat because even in that scale, in the 72nd scale, all their headgear separate parts, most of their field gear separate parts, all the weapons. So you can do a lot with those figures. I see why he uses them.
Yep.
They're already cut up pretty well for you.
Yeah.
And I did spend something not at the show, Dave.
Which was?
I finally found the deal I was looking for on the wash station and cure stations for my Formlabs printer.
Nice. You had to go up to Cincinnati for that, right?
Yes, I did. I went up to Cincinnati to get those. And a young lady who was an artist up there, a ceramic artist, was selling it because she's getting a bigger printer with a bigger build plate footprint on it. And she'd had this on Facebook Marketplace for quite a while, and it just wasn't moving because nobody wanted the whole thing, I guess. So I ended up with the wash station, the cure station, a universal cartridge, an electronic setup to build a second universal cartridge, and then like 3 liters of aftermarket resin. Don't know how much of that I'll use, but the price was right. So now I got to get serious about using this thing in my efforts, because at this point I don't have nearly the retail price tied up in this thing, but I do have a little bit of money in it now.
Yeah. And not only that, but you've got a pretty professional setup. This isn't your, buy a 3D printer from Micromark setup. This is this is serious stuff that you can do serious stuff
Well,
with.
I like it, and it was just the familiarity with it. It was funny because when I get up there, and she's giving me the rundown on all this stuff, she's going into all this detail because she'd used them in design school, and she knew as much about it as I did. And I stopped her politely and told her I had 2 of these in the lab at work and 1 at home, and then she started, okay, you know what you're getting, so here's what's up with it, and why it's dirty and what all that is on it. And
well, you know what? That was actually nice of her when she didn't realize that you knew what you knew, to try and be as open and honest to give the customer as much information as possible. It's
Certainly.
actually kind of nice.
So she did me a solid by breaking it up because I didn't need her printer. Possibly it'll be easier for her to just sell the printer by itself because price point will be a little bit lower. But now I got to get copious amounts of 99% alcohol.
Yeah, you're going to be buying by the barrel.
The tank holds 8 liters.
Okay.
So takes quite a bit. Now, I'll probably buy 4 or 5 gallons, and that'll give me quite a bit in reserve. So that's all I spent, man. I probably don't need to spend any more at least till the next show.
Till the next show. That's right. Which again, that's one of the great things about going to a show. You get deals. You pick up things you didn't know you needed.
Let's get back to the wheel.
You got it.
Man, we're working through these, Dave.
I know.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Chris.
Oh my God, it worked. All right. David, you sweet, sweet man.
Attorney Wallace.
Mike, congratulations on 100.
Thank you.
Really, really well done. Really, really great show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Your blog and YouTube channel aren't too shabby either, Chris.
Well, thank you.
We got our digs for Heritage Con yet?
Depends. Do you want the one with the 2 pools, or do you want the one with the hot tub and the pool upstairs?
Well, given the weather, last time we were at Heritage Con, hot tub is required.
All right. Now that I know that, we're going to narrow it down.
Okay.
Well, how's the new model room coming?
The vent is complete. I think I sent you guys a picture, but my fear of entombment I overcame. I went to that awful crawl space. It was my Shawshank Redemption moment. It's in now. It's all ready to go.
Fantastic. I assume we're going to get a YouTube video when this whole thing is complete, right?
Well, I thought of it, but it's, filming in a tube. It's very dark. So
well,
I didn't bother.
I didn't mean in the tube. I meant of your whole space. The new model airplane maker warehouse or
maybe.
studio.
Yeah, that could happen. That could happen.
We keep bringing it up, so you keep taking notes about this workshop 2.0, and I think some folks are interested because they're moving as well and trying to revamp their own spaces.
Oh God, it's so much fun. I can only recommend it.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
Stop lying to people.
Give me more of that, please. That was such a fun chapter in my life.
But I moved into a new house 4 years ago, and I told my wife, never again. I am leaving this house feet first at room temperature. I am never moving again in my life because, God, it's miserable.
Well, in my space, I can look across the room right now and see a stack of boxes that have been over there since we moved into this house and have never been opened.
And how many years ago was that, Mike?
It's about 13 at this point.
So would you move again, Mike?
I hope not.
No.
I would rather not. I'm kind of like Dave.
I think for me, moving was sort of like the male equivalent of giving birth. You just forget after a while, and then you think, it can't be so bad. And man, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's awful.
But now it's done, so that's the good thing.
So now we're going to spin the wheel.
Absolutely, yes.
It's like airplane question. Oh, man. What is the one kit or kits in your stash that you will never dare to part ways with, no matter how good the asking price is or your need to thin the stash? If you got a kit that you just are never going to sell, Chris, even if you don't build it, this is an interesting question. I can't remember who sent this one in, but
yeah, that is a good question. Oh, Chris is looking at his stash as we speak.
Well, you have to remember, like about 2 months ago, I think I sold about 75 kits. So selling things I have no problem with now. But yeah, maybe. Yeah, hold on. There's got to be something. Okay, there's two, and for two different reasons. One is the, and Jim Bates will laugh right now if he hears this, but it's the Matchbox PB. The Privateer. Sorry, the Matchbox Privateer, simply because there is no other 70-second scale kit of that thing, and I'm pretty sure the second that I do start that I put the final touch on it, Arma is going to release one.
No, you get 75. You don't get to put the final touch on it. You get 75% of the way through.
Yeah,
that's when the announcement comes out, and then you stop working on it because the new kit's been announced, but it takes 2 years to get the new kit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Been there, done that, have the t-shirt.
And the other one would be the Tamiya Corsair, the big one, the 30-second scale, because that was the one kit that I always wanted. They produced it. I have a few of them, and they're not rare or anything, but I see no reason why I would ever sell those things.
Gotcha.
What about build them, though?
I built one. And the decals let me down, so I need to strip those off and redo it. But fantastic build, lots of fun.
We had a guy in our club build a 30-second scale Corsair, but it was way before the Tamiya kit.
Mm-hmm. Trumpeter one, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was the trumpeter one.
No, I don't think it was Scott Borden. I'm thinking it was a Revell
the old Revell kit.
That little dragon.
Yeah.
Well, he slayed it.
Yeah. So, Mike, what's that for you?
I don't know, man. I'm not big on the kit marriage thing anymore. You know me.
Well, you said that, but then you acquired a whole new stash.
Yeah. Can you switch it up to like what kit is the next thing you'll if you see it at a show or something that you absolutely will drop everything to buy it?
That's Dave and his 70-second scale zeros, but I've got a kit in my stash that I've had since I was 15 years old.
Well, that might qualify.
I don't know that I'd ever build it, but nobody's going to want to buy it, so I don't think I have to worry about parting with it. It's a little Esky 75 millimeter field gun, German field gun.
It's a 35th scale, the little mountain howitzer?
Yeah, I built that. I bought that on vacation when we were touring the Western United States. So maybe nostalgia alone is the reason I'll never part with that one.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, what's going on with Model Airplane Maker?
I put together a quick video of an internal working jet engine, high bypass turbofan jet engine model kit. It was a 3D print kit, which I had never even attempted one of those before, but it was kind of fun and it works. So it's like a little desk model. You can flick the switch and the whole thing spins and you see the internal workings of the engine. So it's kind of neat. Not that difficult of a kit. I had it built like with over 2 evenings. And the next videos are going to be just to finish up that Corsair that I built, get that thing painted up.
Well, I wish we could have gotten you the new one.
Oh,
I gotta send it to Las Vegas tomorrow morning.
That would have been nice. But I'll get to get the real deal at some point.
Well, that's right.
I'm going to try to get the real deal as well. We'll see. I think send this out to Las Vegas. Maybe you'll help me acquire one. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'd sure love to build it. That's for sure.
Well, I can tell you the test shot is really beautiful.
Well, yeah, because Mike sent me some close-ups. I think you took them on your phone, maybe. Like you got some really good close-ups, and it looks great.
It does.
The detail and the rivets and everything looks fantastic.
Well, and not only that, it's a 2-for-1 kit. You buy and you get 2.
I'm sure there's a price that will reflect that.
Well, kind of, maybe.
Well, Chris, thanks for joining us, man. And we talk to you all the time. So
Pleasure's all mine. Again, congrats on the 100. Looking forward to the next 100.
You and me both.
You were one of our early guests, so thanks for that.
Yep. And you'll be on again. Just get that model room finished.
It's getting there. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Catch you around, man. Still got a lot of folks out there.
I know.
The number keeps going up. Folks, there's no line. You can jump in anytime if you can figure out how to do it. Jump on in. I see Evan out there knocking around.
I see Evan. Anybody can come on in. There's no line. First come, first serve.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Panzermeister's in the house.
That's right.
You figured it out. Well, what's going on, man?
I've been great. I've actually been making a lot of progress recently on some models. I've got a lot of mojo recently, which is good. It's just flowing from coming back from Nats, I guess.
Well, it sounds like that 250/9 is coming along.
It is indeed, and I think I'll finish off the camo tomorrow.
Now, what camo are you doing it in?
I'm not sure yet. That's why it's a tomorrow problem.
Gotcha. Yep. You don't have to make a decision today. Put it off for tomorrow.
Well, Evan, you've played this before. Let's spin the wheel.
Let's spin it.
Oh, we got somebody else on deck, so
good.
We're good to go. Dumb modeler comments.
Is this regarding my YouTube channel?
No.
It could be. It could be. You could anonymously rat out some crazy feedback or something. Up to you.
Oh.
I don't care.
Oh, man. I think this is a very common question I get on my YouTube channel, which is, where did you buy that kit? Well, I bought it at my local hobby store, or I bought it at a convention, or I bought it somewhere. Like, and people ask me that, and they live in the United States, they live in Germany. Like, I don't. And it's like a common kit, right? I'm just like, I don't know, like, if that matters. But that's a common question I get. I'm not sure what they. Maybe people are looking for the kit if it's rare now, and they think I found it online somewhere. But most of my kits I buy at my local hobby store, or sometimes online retailers. But shipping to Canada is always brutal.
Yes.
What about you, Dave?
That's the wrong color. Honest to gosh, I just, especially in this day and age where weathering and color shifting and fading and pre-shading and post-shading and all. Okay, first of all, the actual color isn't the color, or wasn't 5 minutes after it was applied. I mean, I'm pretty sure that 4BO probably was not just one color, because it was probably made in a bunch of different plants who were doing whatever they could to get their quota out of the plant so they didn't face the firing squad the next week. So the variations in that, and then of course there's always the famous the mud at the bottom of the North Atlantic, or the
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, the mud at the bottom of the Atlantic is not that color. Well, yeah. So any comments where people are saying that's not the right color? Okay, Mike.
Well, since you stole that one, which was one of my best Nats memories ever.
Yes.
Was that night that we heard that. I think folks should refrain from using never and always.
Good. That's actually a good recommendation.
There's some dumbness can come out of that sometimes, for sure.
Yep. They never did that, or they always did that.
Well, that's that. No crew chief, whatever.
Right. There you go.
There's plenty of times people have said that's not how that was online, and I'm like, oh,
Well,
I'm
here's
pretty
the
sure I've
picture.
got a photo saved. I've got a lot of very interesting photos saved because they're very interesting because of those unique features.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do think that people tend to be, modelers particularly, tend to be oversure of their level of knowledge. And yet when you talk to true experts like Dana Bell will never say this wasn't, it always, it never. He'll say, some shade of, well, in all of the photographs I've seen, X. Not saying that it never was Y. And that, I think, it's the mark of a true expert is somebody who's humble enough to realize that they can't possibly know everything.
Yeah. I've heard that before, where people say, the more and more you learn on a subject,
yes,
the more you realize there's more and more, and you'll never learn it all.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Evan, thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you being on the show in this limited capacity, and I'm sure we'll have you back for the third chair again fairly soon.
Evan will be back.
Absolutely.
Soon.
I look forward to it, and congratulations on 100 episodes of your amazing and highly inspirational podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Evan.
Sir.
Looking forward
Cheers,
to seeing
man.
you in person soon.
Looking forward to it as well. Bye-bye.
Mike Talley, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing well, Mike. How are you guys?
I'm good. Thanks for joining us for our 100th episode.
Well, thank you. Congratulations on 100. And I have some 100 proof Heaven Hill bottled and bond for you tonight.
There you go. That's a good choice. That is
Pass it on over.
That is a very good choice.
I'll drop it in the mail and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll get an empty bottle.
Well, evaporation is the worst
right.
ever.
And a fine. Well, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And what you been working on besides the bottle?
Well, yeah. I finished the AK facade recently, and it was way outside my comfort zone, but I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Was that part of wasn't there a group build going around?
Yeah, it was
with the posse doing that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the AK facade, and
okay.
I was really happy when they said all the paints were in the box, and it was blue, yellow, and red, and white and black. So yes, they were all in the box, and it was quite an exercise in way outside my zone, and I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. It was fascinating.
Well, good.
Well, what made you go down that road?
I just saw it and thought, well, I need a challenge. I was real stagnant in the model world for years, and within the last year, I probably finished 5 or 6 models this year alone, and I just I keep moving forward, and just what have I learned today? I've learned that I can mix colors, and it takes a while, but I waste a lot of paint, but I get that color eventually.
Well, cool. And you enjoyed it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really fun. Absolutely.
A lot of people seem to be using those for a learning experience or a training exercise. Is that?
Yeah. And I got to use the 3rd generation AK. It was not. They're nice paints.
Yes,
they
really
are. I was impressed.
Yeah, I've been very impressed by the Gen 3 acrylics. They're really, really nice.
Absolutely. Yep. And like I said, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Well, Mike, where are you located?
I am in Olathe, Kansas.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I met you guys in Omaha, and Dave pulled Olathe, the proper pronunciation of Olathe, right out of his hat, and that was awesome. And I say hat generously.
I try to be knowledgeable. I can say Olathe and Guelph and all sorts of all sorts of place names.
Absolutely. I missed San Marco this year, but I will be in Madison next year. Actually, I'll be in San Marco next weekend, but family vacation.
Little late.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe there's some. I'm kind of fine. Maybe I can find Martin Drayton's models staying around.
Well, no, he got them back.
That's right. He did.
He actually got them back. So, which I was thrilled about.
And he took TJ his to DC Metro area.
Yes, he did. Yep.
The modeling world is fabulous.
It is indeed.
Well, the theme tonight's this wheel. Do you want to take a spin here, sir?
Absolutely. I'll give it a try.
We'll see what's left on this wheel. Hopefully something good.
Hopefully.
Oh, is there a reference book you passed up, but now you can't find it? Now you're too new back into this hobby. I don't know.
I've been in for a long time, and just now really getting serious again, getting confidence again. I had won the Israeli Sherman book quite some time ago at a raffle, and then I donated again for another raffle. And I really wish I'd have kept that book. People looked at me and said, "What did you do?" And I'm like, I don't know. I did something.
You're like, I don't know. What did I do?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Mike?
Well, I wish I'd have picked up more of the Panzer Track series before Tom Jens passed away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Some of those are coming back now. I can't remember who's redoing those, but hopefully they'll get around to releasing the entire series again, because there's 7 or 8 titles I just never got around to getting, and I wish I did.
I feel I don't want to get too deep. I figure if I start with one, it's like the Lincoln Wright book. I bought the first one. I've got the second one on the way, and I'm hooked now. So they're just, I got to keep up the pace.
Dave, I know you have got something along this topic.
This is tough to think, because my wife says that I'm not a modeler. I'm a librarian who occasionally builds models, and she's not wrong. So I tend to, when I see a book and want it, I buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I recently picked up the brand new Arawasi book on the KI-21. Again, it was not a cheap purchase. Book that I passed up. I'm having a tough time coming up with a book that I passed up and now can't find and want. I can't think of any, because honest to gosh,
maybe you buy them when you see them.
I do tend to. I think that's generally true.
Well, that makes you a good librarian.
Yes, that's right. It also makes my library very crowded. But again, I have a very tolerant wife, thank God.
I do also. That's awesome.
So I can't think of one, Mike.
Well, that's
okay.
Well, then you've got plenty of books.
Yes, I do.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thanks for all the emails over the last few years, and thanks for joining us for our 100th episode. And
all right, appreciate it. We'll join you at 200. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's right.
Hope we get there. We'll see.
All right, thanks, guys.
Several more years. Good night, sir. Well, Dave, we've had a lot of fun tonight talking to some of our listeners and letting them help us answer some of these questions on the wheel. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing for this 100th episode?
Just thank you to all you guys who listen, to all you guys who've donated, to all the folks who've come up to us at shows and told us what the podcast means to you. 100 episodes ago, I had no clue any of this was even possible. I look back on the last 3 years and all the people that I now know that I didn't then, people who I consider really good friends, people I've had great conversations with at shows. And I can't imagine what the next 100 is going to look like. But, if it's half as good as this first 100, I'll be more than satisfied.
I would certainly agree with all that, Dave. And, rolling back to December of 2019, when we first started kicking this around, it was, well, in my head, it was before then. It was when I went up to that last show in Cincy at the technical college up there.
Yeah.
Before they moved locations.
Yeah.
I'd been listening to Stuart Clark's show on the way up, and I actually was doing some recording on my phone voice recorder on the way back, just jacking around, seeing if this is something I thought I could even do. Right.
Yeah.
And then through the idea by you, and you were all in from the start. And then we recorded our first 3 episodes there over Christmas holiday in 2019. And then we let it rip on 2020 and just hoped it didn't suck. And we had no idea. We had no idea that any of this was going to happen. And I appreciate all the runway that Stuart Clark and Dave Goldfinch and their co-host helped pave to get us off the ground. And then hopefully we've made it a little wider and longer for other folks coming along. And we all just seem to get along great, and look forward to seeing all the other podcasters at the shows we go to, the national convention or wherever we run into them.
Yeah.
And also, I thank all the listeners out there. We've met so many amazing people, seen so many amazing things, and been to some amazing places. So hopefully we got 100 more in us. I'm pretty jazzed at this point. So
yeah, absolutely.
No end in sight.
You got it, brother.
Except for this episode. We got to wrap it up, Dave.
Okay.
As we always say, Dave.
So many kits.
So little time. And let's hit the ground running with 101.
You got it.